Sam, you're literally Frodo right now.
He's the hero ever.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gollum's Gamers and to a new instalment of Talk of the Table, where in this series I'll be doing my very best to pick the brains of some of the very best players and minds in competitive MESBG to answer what I'm hoping are some of the burning questions that the community might have, which is why I'm joined today by Jakub Krochmal. Now, if you've watched our channel for quite a while, you'll have heard us mention Jakub plenty of times over the years now. So I've been meaning to get him on the channel for quite some time, and this series is the perfect opportunity as Jakub is one of the very best players in the GBHL, but also a very successful Polish player as he won the ETC with Poland in 2022 and 2019. Now, in 2019, he also won the Polish League while simultaneously coming in 5th place in the GBHL, which I certainly did not know. He also finished 5th in the GBHL in 2023, 2nd place last year in 2024, and is currently in 2nd place again in this 2025 season. So, Jakub, thank you very much for joining me. How are you doing? You were mentioning you're just about to go back to Poland for another Polish tournament, right?
Yeah, thank you, and hello to every Gollum's Gamers viewer. I just want to correct that I haven't won 2019 ETC. I've only won 2022, but
he won it. Okay, fine. I got that wrong. My prep was wrong, folks. Yes. But also, I left something out. So you've won, is it 30 tournaments in total? Roughly 30 MSBG tournaments?
So if we count all the events, then yes.
Yeah,
overall,
like everything.
Overall, it was 11 GBHL 100s, I think, then 8 Polish tournaments, which are GBHL 100 equivalents called Master tournaments, and then some of the big team events. But you asked about going to Poland, so yes. I'm actually going to Poland this Friday, Friday the 15th of August, depends when this is going to be live.
It'll be after.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I'm going to a tournament called Polish Doubles Championships. Nice. Which I've already won twice, but haven't been to for a few years, so we're looking forward to it.
You do go quite often sort of back to Poland, don't you? Sort of fairly often for tournaments? Well, not only for tournaments, but you go back and you play in tournaments, right?
So maybe less than I thought I would. It's just there's so many GBHL 100s that it's difficult to combine them with Polish events. But yeah, I try to go to Poland, and this year I've had a very nice opportunity to go to Poland with some
nice
GBHL players as well. But I'm sure.
Oh yes, of course, for the Nations Cup. Yes, of course. But before we get underway, I wanted to remind everyone that tickets for our very first tournament, the Lemon Cup, are now live. So for more details, I'll leave the link to the event page as well as the preview podcast that we did, talking about the event in a bit more detail, down in the description. So be sure to check it out and get your Lemon Cup tickets. Now, as always, you can find us on Instagram and Spotify by following the links in the description down below. And also please consider subscribing to us here on YouTube, as a large proportion of people watching aren't actually subscribed. So please do, if you enjoy everything that we do here on the channel. So I guess to kick things off here, Jakub, before we dive into all the SBG stuff, Is there anything that might come to mind that sort of you do outside of the game that you enjoy doing, that people listening might not know about you? Anything like that come to mind at all? Little icebreaker,
So is there life outside of MESBG?
Not for us. Yes, tournament goers.
So yeah, I don't have.
You have to say no,
I don't have.
If not,
maybe that would be really bad. But so I don't have a time for another proper hobby than
sure.
SBG.
SBG does take up a lot of time.
I do enjoy things like history, especially 20th century history. So if you ever want to talk about World War II you're more than welcome.
Jakub's your
About
man.
Polish history or um,
That's
things like this, then
yeah.
I now, uh, mm, due to uh, due to my wife, I also tend to go to
Yes.
spas a lot of times. So, or she gets to go to spas while I'll go to tournaments.
Yeah.
So I
Nice.
wouldn't call it a hobby,
Mm.
but yeah, it's
Yeah.
something that I
Nice.
do sometimes on the weekends where I don't go
Away
to
from the game
tournaments.
when you're not at a
Uh,
tournament, which is few weekends, really,
yeah, I mean, not it's not as bad,
as it
but
used to be. Yeah. Same for me.
it certainly could be better
Worse.
or worse.
Yes, or worse.
Depends
Yes.
which way you're looking at it.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, one thing that I have that is very interesting about Jakub, folks, is that he is almost the only person in the entire GBHL and MESBG scene that I can talk basketball with, because there's no other people who play basketball. Jakub doesn't play basketball anymore, but he used to play basketball when he was younger, quite a lot, I think, didn't you?
so yeah, fun fact about me. Uh, so apart from okay, I'm depends if you want to use the as I call it medieval measurements or not.
Yeah.
I'm 6'2" or
Yes.
187 centimeters, which
Yep.
is right, I would say. However, when I was 12, I was only 3 inches shorter.
Yeah.
And I was playing in a club, like playing basketball and absolutely smashing my peers. And
Awesome.
being way taller than them definitely helped.
Being very tall.
Unfortunately, since then I've mostly grown sideways
Than
rather than
upwards.
in the
It went the other way.
went the other
I
way.
bet it was fun though while you were 12, dominating on the court. I'd have loved to have had that even just for a little bit of time. So, but I'm very
Yeah.
much into basketball. If I'm not sure how many of our viewers really know that, but like basketball is what I do, and obviously there aren't many people in wargaming who are into it. So me and Jakub frequently over beers, I end up nagging him about basketball. So there you go.
Just don't nag me about NBA or something. Oh, I'm not that
No,
good
no, no.
at basketball. I'm just
You're not like into it like that.
I do
Yeah, yeah.
practical.
Casual.
Yeah, casual.
There you go.
Yeah.
We have actually played, yeah. So, Jakub, take us back to the beginning. How and when did you first get into MESBG? How long have you been playing for? All that sort of thing. I have no idea, so I'm curious to find out.
Okay, so let's actually go back a bit before my MESBG to
Hmm.
Lord of the Rings. So I was born in 1996, but don't worry, we're not going that
I
far.
was born in
Uh,
97. Yes.
and so when the Fellowship of the Ring came out, I was 5 years old, and since I was always say quite big and quite intelligent for my age, at least when I was a
Hmm.
kid. Now I'm big for my age, but sideways, as we said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, my parents took me to the cinema to watch the Fellowship of the Ring, me 5 year old, and it was actually the first like proper film that I got to see apart
Oh,
from
wow.
something like for
Mm.
preschool kids with like some fish swimming in the ocean. So
Cartoon, yeah.
this was a very very big experience for me.
Mm.
And would probably be a big experience, whatever film it was. But of course, Fellowship of the Ring is a great film, and it's still my favorite out of the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
It's my
Mm.
girlfriend's as well. Yep.
Uh, and I, 5 year old me, not knowing obviously the uh plot, I've made all the wrong choices when it comes to the characters I've supported throughout
Yes.
the film.
As you do.
So first one was Gandalf, because he showed up early, and was like a big important
Of course.
character.
Yep.
So like about 2/3 throughout Fellowship of the Ring, he, as far as as I knew at that stage, dies.
Hmm.
So I was already heartbroken, and then for
Devastated.
a reason devastated, and then for a reason unknown to me, I switched to Boromir. So
Oh,
quite
yes.
obviously, it's the worst combination of the characters you could choose in Fellowship of the Ring because they're literally the
By
only
the
two
end of the
that
film.
die,
Yeah.
uh, the only two that like are in any way significant. Uh,
Yeah.
so that already I was mm,
Not a good
super
start.
devastated, but
Yeah.
also super hooked into Lord of the Rings. So about then, of course, I went to the Two Towers, Return of the King, and
Hmm.
at that point, I was already a bit into like building plastic models of planes,
Hmm.
painting.
Yeah, I
Wait,
also
I'll
did.
play
I did
of
like one of those kits of a motorbike. Like my dad was really into like MotoGP when I was a kid, and he had one of those kind of bikes that you get in like a box and you build it and stuff and you paint it. So I also did something like that before I first
Yeah, my
got
dad
into
bought me
Warhammer.
some plane models, which I have no idea why he did this because his manual skills are below zero. Like he was completely useless in helping me build them.
Mm.
Um, but then uh something happened and I saw the first issue of the Battle Games in Middle Earth. Uh,
Ah.
and then when I saw this, I knew, yeah,
So young
I have to,
Jakub
I have
was
to
in a
do this.
newsagent's and he it caught
Exactly.
his eye, the issue
And
one
then,
of Battle Games of Middle Earth, and he was
yeah,
just drawn in.
then told my
There we
parents,
go.
yes, I need this.
I
And
need
then
it.
a few years later, when the Battle Games were coming to a close, I have
Hmm.
stumbled upon a shop where the miniatures were being sold,
Hmm.
like a local gaming store.
Yeah,
And
still.
then
Yep.
I had another realization. Okay, I can actually buy those in person in my home
Hmm.
city.
Yep.
I don't have to like order them from the UK or anything, which I
So
wouldn't
where
know
was
how to
this? You
do.
were in Poland at this point.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was in Krakow. Yes, and
Yeah.
um, it's about maybe 9 or 10, probably like
Hmm.
10 at this point.
Yeah.
And
So
then
from when you saw the first issue up until you saw the store, had you been collecting the models and building and painting? So you had like a collection at this point before you even saw the store, sort of thing.
yes, I have a complete
Okay.
collection of battle games,
Nice.
at least
Nice.
the ones that were issued in Poland, because there were like three special editions, with one with Gandalf, then with um, something, and then with
Yeah.
Aragorn, and second and third were not released in Poland. So I have everything
Right.
that was released in Poland.
Sure.
That was a no-brainer, but then I started expanding my collection
Hmm.
through buying the models
At the store.
for the
Nice.
money at the store, for money I received for any occasion like Christmas, birthday,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
anything like that. And at some point, I've also started looking at playing the game, because
Hmm.
I've played it with my school friends, but we were like making up rules really. And
Right.
I remember one of them had like rich parents who bought him, and I think he wanted really, so he had like a huge model of Helm's Deep. So
Oh,
we
nice.
basically had, and he hasn't painted anything,
Yeah.
but this was which one came painted. I think someone like did it in commission to the store, and then the store sold it to him.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know, but basically we were just putting all random models on the. One of them was us was defending the Helm's Deep.
Yeah, doing
Another
the
one
siege and that. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
besieging. Didn't really matter what faction they were.
Yeah.
Playing around. I still had, like, for example, the Uruk-hai pikemen. So many of the pikes were broken by just me poking the models with different models. Because obviously,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
someone kills their opponent, you can't just take it off.
No,
It
no, you
has
can't just
to
take it off.
actually
You've got to play it out.
like poke with a sword or a spear, and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
didn't like this. But then I was starting to look into um actually playing this game. I don't
Hmm.
remember what even drove me to it, but I found a forum. It was the times
Yep.
where forums were a thing,
Yes.
which it was like the biggest forum in Poland about back then Lord of the
SBG.
Rings.
Yep. Yep.
SBG. It's called what's called Mithril.pl. Then I also saw there were articles about players playing in tournaments, playing also in the international tournaments. I think in
Yep.
2008 there was a lot of Polish players who went to Nottingham to Warhammer World GT and absolutely
Oh,
dominated it. Uh,
wow.
so this this has inspired me uh,
Inspiration. Love it.
to actually go to an
Learn
event,
the game and
go
yeah,
and
nice.
give it a go, go to the event. And yeah, I didn't really know what types of events. I couldn't distinguish between, say, GBHL 100 equivalent or like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
local event.
yeah.
So I probably haven't chosen very wisely for my first event because I've decided to go to a tournament in my city, although on the completely other side of the city, so it took like an hour by tram to get there.
Right.
Uh, which was one of the biggest and most competitive tournaments in
Wow.
Poland. Uh,
Wow. For
and
your
I'll
first.
say my list wasn't necessarily up to the
Optimized.
task.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't too bad, but then I also couldn't really play the game.
Hmm.
So I went there for the first day. There were four games in the first day. I got absolutely smashed in every one of those games. There
Yep.
was like similar to now, although the points work differently. The maximum possible loss was 20-0. So I got 20-0 in all of those games. And
Right.
then for day two, where there were only two games, I figured out that there's no point really going 1 hour each way by tram to only get massacred twice. So I just
Hmm.
stayed at home. So
Ah, so you
I've dropped
didn't
out
go.
of my
You've
first.
dropped your first
I've dropped on my
tournament.
first event.
Does it count
Yes.
then? I mean, it does, but like, yeah, you didn't technically finish, so.
Uh, I mean, I started, but then I went to some local events, and there were also other new players. And this
Hmm.
all happened back in 2009, where
Right.
I wasn't even 13, so I was 12 years old when doing my first event. Mm.
Oh,
And yeah, I've then mm, got hooked into it, played
yeah.
for a few years.
That
Like I
sort
don't
of
know.
that
I
lit the
don't know.
fire of
Yes.
competing, I guess, and you went to your first tournament and stuff. So then I guess from there you just started to sort of attend more tournaments and you continued to learn the game and that sort of thing.
I did this for about 2.5 years, then
Okay.
had a few years break,
Hmm.
because toy soldiers are too big for toy soldiers, you know.
Yes.
Then got back into initially 40K, and then got back into
Right.
Miller SBG, or was then Hobbit SBG in
Okay.
2017, I think. About
2017.
2017, late
Okay. Fine.
2017.
So
Where I
pretty
also
big
played.
break, sort of
Yes,
thing. Yeah.
pretty big break. I think my
Yeah.
first GBHL event was in the late 2017 when I actually studied in England.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
and well, I played since then.
Yeah, since then. So 2017, you took a big break. I did the same thing. I played when I was super young, sort of like you, really, although I didn't go to any tournaments in that first sort of stint when I played when I was younger. So I played, then I dropped it probably for a longer amount of time. It was like 15 years or something that I
Mm.
stopped for, and then came back. And yeah, so, but when you came back, would you say that's when sort of did you start taking competing more seriously almost immediately? Like, was there a point in time that happened at? And then sort of when did you start to see improvement sort of in your results? Did that happen quickly or did it take some time?
So, I've in Poland there are almost no non-competitive players, and definitely there were no non-competitive players back when I started.
Yep.
So I was competitive from the very start, and I tried to optimize,
Right.
although perhaps I was not skilled enough
At the time.
at
Yep.
the beginning. Uh, so I think my best result was something in like low top 10, like eighth place or something in a big event.
Yep.
Um, and then I was a competitive 40K player. Uh,
Right.
was even trying to get into the like then EDC team for England
Okay.
and 40K.
Yep.
Um, Luckily, I that didn't work because then
Dodge that.
the edition changed, and it's like all I played would be completely useless.
Right.
So when I got back into again Hobbit SBG, I definitely
Hmm.
felt that uh my experience in wargaming. Like that, the 40K mm, bit helped me a lot as well. Not just by being 40K,
Yeah.
but applying more of mathematical, statistical thinking, which is
Yep.
also something I couldn't really do when I was 12 or 14. Like there was these concepts were a bit um too
Unknown,
complicated,
I
some of
guess.
them.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I
yeah.
knew the basics obviously, but
Yep.
it wasn't at this level by any means. So
Yep.
well, I've really started trying to compete um since then. So um, it's always been my problem that it's difficult for me not to be competitive in my playstyle. It just doesn't feel right. I
Yeah.
feel I feel unsportsmanlike if I'm not competitive, but I'm sure we'll get to that
Yes.
when we talk about something.
No, of course.
So
So, but did you sort of was there? So you came back in 2017, and like in terms of like the way that you played, did you start to see sort of improvement? Quite quickly from when you came back, or sort of did it take? Are we talking a number of years until you started to see sort of improvement in your play?
I think pretty much immediately. To
Okay.
be fair, I think yeah, my first, for example, my first tournament in the UK was actually a non-GBHL event. It was GW event though, at
Okay.
Warhammer Fest, which was in Coventry.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
It was a tournament where, well, because I didn't know about GBHL at the time, and this
Hmm.
tournament I saw it being advertised by GW, so I thought, okay, I'll go there, see what it's like, and it turned out there was 10 players there,
Right.
think, it included all the top players in the league at that time.
Yep.
So I got to play like Ed Ball, Mick, I think, a few others,
Okay. Well.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
I finished fifth, I think, out of those 10 people.
Nice.
Then did pretty well in the
Yeah.
first GBHL event. So I would say I was already quite good
You hit the
when I
ground
got
running
when I got into it, but
when you came
it
back. Yeah.
really kicked off when the new edition, back then new edition started in late
Yes.
2018.
Yes, the Middle
And
Earth strategy battle game edition.
exactly. And actually all of my podiums and
Hmm.
obviously wins at big events were since then. So
Since
I
then,
haven't
sure.
won any event
Before that,
prior
I see.
to I think September
I
2018.
see. So all of that was almost like, the training grounds, like, the stabilizers were on, you were getting used to it, and then the new edition came out, and that's what really kind of set
Hmm.
things off from there.
Or perhaps people winning back then were people who played the entire edition, who had like
Sure,
7 years
who
of
had more
experience
experience.
in the
Sure, sure, sure.
edition. But
And
then
then when
the
it's
new
all
edition changed,
reset,
new profiles happened.
it's
I
a level playing field.
understood them better, and I got
Yeah.
ahead of the pack this way.
Yeah, nice, nice. So speaking of sort of profiles and things, what would you say are your favorite types of models and armies to use? Which also leads sort of nicely into like how you'd describe your play style. Like the two are sort of linked a little bit. What do you think?
Okay, so my play style. Uh, so generally the thing I mm, try to be as versatile, and I try to
Hmm.
be as versatile as possible,
Yep,
and playing different types of lists.
yep,
But I think what I enjoy playing the most, so I enjoy playing offensively.
yep.
I'm quite good at that. I'm quite good at putting a lot of pressure on my opponent. Even if defending is theoretically easier, I tend to do offensive maybe slightly better.
Hmm.
And well, I definitely like heroes who give you some options. So it's
Yep.
either magic users or magic users, monster heroes, this kind of stuff. I really loved playing monster or hero armies in the previous edition.
Hmm.
I've won a GBH 100 with hero army that had 5 different heroes from 4 different army lists and a sentinel. It's really
Oh,
fun.
nice.
Uh,
Nice. What
although
event?
the
I think I was. Oh, was that
City of
That was
Kings.
City of Kings, wasn't it? Yes. I think that was the first. I think that was my first GBHR 100. Was it 2023? Or,
Yes.
oh, okay. I think it was the first one I went was in 2022. I think. So yeah, I remember that event. Yeah.
So yeah, it was 2023.
Yeah.
And I've always liked those kind of lists. Ideally, if I could include Boromir in them,
The
because
Fellowship,
Boromir is
Boromir, of
the
course.
Fellowship Boromir, the
Yes.
which, if you asked me a year ago, I would say it's the only Boromir. Now the problem is, he's still better. He's still better Boromir than the other Boromir. The problem is he can be taken almost nowhere. So,
Yes.
um,
Practically nowhere. Yeah.
the hero
That's a shame.
armies are less
No
of a
more.
thing. Less of a thing.
Yes.
Maybe no more. Maybe there are some that
Yeah.
thematically make sense as hero armies,
Reduced heavily. Yeah.
but reduced heavily, and you definitely can't have those weird
Soup
combinations.
stuff.
And I really liked soup. Uh, as a Polish person, I have to like soup because soup is a
There
traditional thing, and I
you
also like
go.
soup in list building.
That's thematic in its own right. If you're saying you like soupy lists because you're Polish, and that's a
Yeah, that
theme in
works
its
in
own way.
different ways. Yeah. So
Yeah.
one of my most favorite combinations in the previous edition was Wraiths, Spider Queen, and Bat Swarms,
Oh
and
yes, of course it
I
was.
could do a lot of magic with those
Mm.
models, and I don't mean literal magic. Yes, obviously I could, but then
But it
uh,
ends up in magic
it's
on the tabletop.
this and
We've looked
losing
at those
priority.
lists. Yeah, we've looked at those
Yeah.
lists many times on the preview podcast. Some of our viewers may remember those Spider Queen lists. Yeah.
Yeah, there's, for example, a list in that I won 2 GBH100s with back in 2019, which contained Shadow Lord, Druzak, Spider Queen, Shelob, and like 1 or 2 Bat Swarms, depending on points level.
Wow.
And with this list, I just had so many options that
Mm.
I was pretty sure that my opponent wouldn't spot all of them.
Yeah, at once. Yeah, it's tough. Okay, and then anything on like sort of your favorite types of models and armies? You've mentioned obviously the magic and the spiders are things that you did. Do you have like a favorite faction or anything like that at the moment? What are you enjoying using at the moment? I'm sort of setting you up here for a story that
Okay,
you've told me recently.
I see, I see.
Yeah.
Yes. So, um, this year when the new edition came out, it was obviously the changes in list building were bad for me in a way that it negates the soup list or very heavily restricts them to few, say, thematic soups. But it also gave me an opportunity to do something that I really wanted to do for a few years, but it was never really feasible with how the list building worked and how meta worked.
Yeah.
So this year I'm playing a different army list in each of the GBH 100s. I believe I'm up to 15 or 16 at this point. Um, so the only time I've repeated a list was playing in the Nations Cup with a list that I've played in the GBH 100, which was Men of
It's
the
not a
West.
GBHL tournament, so I
Yeah,
guess
so it's only
doesn't
GB.
count.
Yeah, exactly. It
Yes.
doesn't count.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
also, I wouldn't want to reduce the chances of my team by saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not going to practice
I
with it at
have to
all
use something else.
because this will be against the
Yeah.
rules." So this also um, works with my versatility. I'm working on that, so to basically be
Yeah.
able to play
Use
with a
anything.
lot of different play styles. And I've had a few lists that I really enjoyed this year. Like one of the might be a hot take or something that
Have a hot take.
would be a bit unexpected, but I think the one that I might have enjoyed playing the most was Rise of the Necromancer. So
Really?
I
I
would.
personally love the Necromancer. I've used him in lots of practice games and things. Obviously, not the most like meta pick and stuff, but I've always just liked the profile, just a huge tanky model, caster. I've always really liked him.
Yeah, people do like him, but And for me to like something, it needs to be kind of competitive as well. I also really like Road to Rivendell, albeit I played it at 395 point GBHL 90. So
Oh,
yeah, that was not the typical points
yeah.
to play a competitive event.
A hero, yeah.
But
I'm sure
yeah,
you've
there,
learned a lot, sort of, over this year, just about trying different things and stuff like that. With a different list for every tournament. You've got to adapt to the way you do things right over the year. So
exactly. And then next year I'll have everything practiced and also everything painted. So that's
nice. There you go.
ideal.
Two birds
Um,
with one stone. Yeah.
that's ideal. Um, yeah, I thought I don't like lists that are more defensive, but it's an interesting challenge. Just
Mm,
for me, if if I can win with something, I kind of like it. The
yeah.
thing I dislike the most are the lists that don't have any tools that which
Mm,
would allow you to turn the game in your favor when something goes wrong.
yeah.
Like one example of this army list for me, from the list I played this year was Arner, which
Hmm.
if things go well, it's all good, although boring, but it's all
Yeah.
fine. But if things stop going well, then can't really do
You've got
anything about
nothing
it.
to
Like,
really, swing it in your favor. I've been I've been having my first sort of few practice games with Arnor because I spent a lot of money on all the official Arnor GW models recently, as they're going to be my next like painting project. So I've been doing some practice games as I've got them built, and yes, I'm finding that as well. When things go well, you're winning. But then, if you face something big and scary potentially, and you can't do much about it, and it rolls well, you sort of just have to roll
yeah,
over
this
and
is a kind
accept.
of
Yeah,
team list where if you can avoid a certain matchups, then it's much better than
it can be super
if
good.
it yeah, then if it has to play
Runs into stuff it
whatever
doesn't
you're.
like. Yeah. So is there anything that you'd say sort of over all the tournaments you've been to now over a number of years, is there anything that sort of stands out to you as your favourite part about actually going to tournaments? Why is it that you attend so many?
I think it's a combination of things. So I really enjoy the competition, but then I also really enjoy the social side of things.
Hmm.
So it's meeting with people who I know very well, and I like getting some pints. Um, so after this, uh, evening festivities are also a very uh nice thing to have in a tournament,
Yes,
and
of course.
certainly if a tournament like if I, for example, have to go home directly after playing them in the first day, like can't
Hmm.
take part in anything else, it makes a tournament less enjoyable for me. Also,
Yeah, of
one thing
course.
that tournaments do is that if I have a week ahead of the tournament, I'm like, when I'm at work, I'm just counting in my head, there's 3 more days or 2 more days,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and who I'm going
Looking
to
forward
play, how
to
am
it.
I going to do, looking forward
Yeah.
to it. And it really like makes this weekend much
Mm.
mhm, or makes a whole week much better than if I
Yeah,
had
then
no
it would
plans
be.
for the weekend. Although if I
Yes.
have nice plans for the weekend that are not tournament related, then it can be sort
Then
of
that's good
similar.
as well. But yes, looking forward to tournaments. Yeah, when you've got them, I've actually now started putting mine. I used to write all of mine down in my notes, but I've realised now me and my girlfriend we've started using our calendar. Like we share a calendar, so now I put all of my tournaments in the calendar. So like as I'm sort of looking at what I can do on certain weekends, I can sort of see where my tournaments are. And like you say, you start to get sort of excited for them. The closer they get and
I have
sort
it
of
all in
thing.
my
So
head.
yeah, I had to write
It's all
things
here.
down, but now, yeah, I use my iPhone calendar and it's all just there and it's all like, color coded and that. Anyway, do you have anything that sticks out as like a very memorable in-game moment from a tournament? It could either be a specific thing that happened like in a game or a very important win that you had, anything like that at all, sort of in terms of the game. Obviously, there's lots of games to.
Yes, yes, I thought about this question, and
Okay.
it's hard to really have
Yeah,
one.
hone in
As
on
there are
yes.
like positives and negatives, there are
Yeah.
certainly there's certainly like a very, let's say, mm, bad memory that will stay with me forever.
Okay.
At the of the World Team Championships 2023, and the
Right.
last game, when we were playing, yeah, me and my team Poland back then, we were playing the Italians on table one, and sorry,
That's right.
and we needed me to at least get a draw to win the
Hmm.
whole event.
Yep.
And then in the final turn, I made a mistake that was very small,
Hmm.
but then turned out to be very, very meaningful. And that thing like costed us a win. And it was really really funny because we had three teams that ended on the same number of tournament points, and it's not like we had
Oh wow.
10 tournament points. It was actually using like the points from like those points from for like 5-0 for a major win and
Yeah.
so on.
Major
So
minor.
we
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
like on 109 points each or something like this. Like I made this up, but it's
Right.
this like scale that
Yeah. Yeah.
we had a three-way tie on like around 100 points.
Yep.
But we were the lowest on the next tiebreaker. So
Right. Was that
it could have,
VPs?
yeah, I think
VPs?
VPs or VP diff,
Yeah.
something like this.
Yeah.
And it could have been a point which, if we scored an extra point at any point throughout the tournament, like
Of
if
course.
any of us scored an extra point, we would have won. But then, because my mistake was in the like last turn of last
Hmm.
in the final game, and
That's the
if I
one you're
didn't
gonna
do it,
be
that's the one
thinking
that I
about.
felt, yeah, I was thinking about, and
It,
like
yeah, it'll stay with you,
took
I
a lot
guess.
of
You know,
blame.
but
Yes,
like you say, it's sort of over all of the games from all of your teammates over the whole weekend. You know, it's a joint effort, right? But you know, at the very end, Sam also had this very recently. He lost out on the third place spot at the third place spot at Dewey's tournament because he was one VP
oh
behind
yeah,
Farmer very recently. So it happens quite a lot, but and obviously international event where you're representing your country, it's gonna sting, isn't it?
yes, and it stings even more if there are other people. Like if you feel that you let other people down, you're in a team, then
Yeah,
it hurts much more. But there were
rather than it
also
being a
like,
solo thing. Yeah.
yeah, other great experiences from winning those kind of events. So
Course, but it's always. I tend to sort of be like, I'm a glass half empty sort of guy usually, and but I'm sure with lots of people, you know, it's I guess the not the negative things, but like the things that go wrong that sometimes stand out a little bit more than thinking about everything that goes right. You know, you've had plenty go right, but it's then you know the thing that got away sort of thing that you think about.
yes, I don't have too many cases like this one sticks out because it was like the final thing that happened
Yeah,
in the final phase, final turn, everything like
yeah,
this. While the
yeah.
games in those big events, the games that I won were usually like won fairly comfortably. Maybe actually I can have another one from a singles event which I won.
Hmm. Yeah.
Which was 2024 at the Seven City GP in the final.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My chariot against Jay Acharya's Isengard and Hold Ground,
Hmm.
where the
Shout out, Jay.
I was shout out Jay,
Mm.
when I was quite firmly in control for the entire game. However, then the game didn't end for like 7 turns
Oh,
after breaking,
yes, yes.
and everyone from my army, apart from Candish King, run away or died.
Right. Yeah.
Everything from Jay's army, apart from Lurch, died. Uh, and the game ended up being mm, a duel between Lurch, that already took like
Right.
a wound, and the Candish King.
No way.
And with the prize being Smaug,
Oh yes, it
or the
was. Oh yes.
equivalent.
Oh yes, I was
So
there.
so
Yes.
it was also big stakes. And
Mm.
my Candish King finally killed Lurd. It was such a relief. But
Little 1v1 duel for the
it's
Smaug.
really like if you have a hold ground game which ends up being 1v1, and it wasn't a 1v1 in the middle, it was like 1v1 next to the board edge or
Oh,
something like
really?
this.
Right.
Because they've
Okay.
just like I had a whole group of models that were in the center, but they all just run away. So
They all ran. So nice. I think Jay's actually he's been looking for a Smaug for Ardacon. So which I don't think he's actually taken out, but he was at some point looking for a Smaug. So I bet he was sort of thinking back to that as well, thinking, God, if I just fucking beat Jakub in that game, if
probably
I
would
won
take him
that
on.
duel, I'd have had my own Smaug. But hey, it's yours. Have you built it? Have you painted it?
Of
Or have you...
course not. I'm
No.
calling it, of course not. I'm calling this investment Smaug. I checked, and Smaug, if you consider GW price increases, then the Smaug is significantly above inflation.
Well,
So
there you go.
it's
An investment
it's an
Smaug,
investment
folks. You
Smaug.
love it.
I'll
Nice.
probably build it at some point, but it's definitely not a
But even that
priority.
is a project of its own. So yeah,
Exactly.
nice. So do you have any sort of like pre-game or in-game sort of like rituals? Any sort of like not superstitions, but like maybe anything that you just like a routine that you might do when you get to the table or anything like that at all that comes to mind? Rituals or anything like that?
Mm, So the one thing that really, only one thing that really comes to mind, is that I have a bit of a fetish for even numbers of models in the list.
Ah, I am
Even
also on that wavelength
even
for
more
sure.
than it's like actually matters. So it's like physically hurts me when I see my list and it has odd number of models.
39
I
models. Oh, yeah, I can't do that.
I really struggle.
Agreed.
Uh, then in game, apart from like the typical dice shamanism that all players do in
Hmm.
like I try to think rationally. That I try to think that the a dice roll doesn't have an impact on an unrelated dice roll and so on.
No.
Um, so I wouldn't say so. I know that when I was uh very young player,
Hmm.
I used to, and then I had this very weird habit that when I saw that I did something very wrong, and
Hmm.
then my opponent was just starting to take advantage of it, I slapped myself. Uh, I c- I didn't even remember
Oh my
it,
god.
but that it was reminded to me
Yeah.
by a group of other players, and they've even
Okay.
made it into a game where the game was like when people sitting in a circle, and the idea was that if you like slap yourself one way, then the person on this side has to slap themselves,
Right.
and it's like goes
Yeah, yeah.
if you do it wrong, then you have to take a
Yeah.
shot or something like this. So
You
yeah,
have to slap
this is
yourself.
an
Here we
unusual
go.
fun
I'm
fact,
gonna I'm
but
gonna look over to you some point at a tournament
I'm not doing this
and
now. So
just say a little slap, a little bum tap or something, and
I'm not doing this now,
yeah, take you
but
back.
yeah, it's quite funny.
Love it. So I guess moving on to a little bit more sort of about the game, like how you approach the game and all that sort of thing. So would you say there's something about the way that you either play or think about MESBG that sort of allows you to be so successful? Obviously, I laid out at the start kind of all these tournaments you've won and the leagues you've done super well in. Is there like a particular strength you might have or something that you do that's overlooked by other people? Any of that sort of stuff. Where do you want to go?
So I think and it's believe it's a common theme across most of the top players.
Hmm.
The like probabilistic statistical approach to the game is something that I like. I used to like write some Excels that I could use to calculate odds of, for example, if you had like double rank of something fighting a double rank of something else, who would come on top? What would be the more or less say kill death ratio? So
Yeah.
I think it's quite important to like understand mm, what would happen most likely if you do something, and
Yeah.
then so of course I don't run Excels or calculations before each game. I more or less know what would happen in most of the typical cases,
Scenarios.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
I can quickly calculate or guess with reasonably good accuracy. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. Mm, but I think that's an easier part of it. Now the other part of it is to apply it in practice when thinking about what to do in the game, like how to approach the game. For example, if your mm, if your line is horribly outmatched by your opponent, how to try
Yeah.
to win the scenario, uh, and it might lead to the decisions like run away, stall them. I don't mean slow playing, but just tactically doing things to maybe try to have a fight in a choke point where not too many models will die. Try
Will
to
die.
focus
Yeah.
on
Because
heroes
if you're
fighting.
outfought, sort of, in a particular matchup, if you just run in there, you're going to die and lose. So how else can you play the scenario, the game, to maybe etch a draw or a win potentially from a bad situation?
Then a lot of times like it's if you see that you can't really get a win if you go for it, for example, your opponent has very strong shooting and they start very far away, but then the game starts as a draw and like destroy your supplies or to the death. It might be
Yeah.
worth playing for a draw or pretending to play for a draw because if your opponent really wants a win, they will likely um go for you,
Come to you,
and
sort of thing. Yeah.
that will even the odds a bit.
Yeah.
And that can allow you to actually like playing for a
Get a win.
draw can help you win the game. Um, also then thinking that in some situations it's better to play something that's more risky that will lose you
Hmm.
a game if it doesn't go off, but then might win you the game, which we would have otherwise lost playing conservatively. So it's
Yeah.
all those decisions. And my for me, like playing aggressively allows me at least this that in many games I just start a game without much of a plan. I have a
Hmm.
bit of a plan how can I win the game? But then I see what my opponent does and really react to this.
Yeah.
But
And I
if
guess
you
that's
start
where,
on back foot, then it's difficult to do it.
for sure, I guess where you say sort of you want to try and be as versatile as possible, once things start to unfold in the game, you can then sort of read and react and adapt what your plan might be from there once the game starts to sort of unfold, rather than going into it saying this is exactly what I'm going to do. I guess at times you'll have those plans in place, but not all the time.
So yes,
I guess what you're saying.
I might have some plan, but it's important to have a plan, but it's also important to not always stick to it. Like
Yeah.
if good opportunities arise, but your plan would require doing something else, you
Yeah.
might have to reconsider.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, it's this and then being able to make correct decisions.
Hmm. Which is easier said than done, but I guess
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's just from the experience, sort of, as you get more comfortable with the game and making those decisions, you can see what the right and wrong ones are, sort of easier, right?
Yes, from understanding the armies. It also really helps if you have played an army that your opponent currently plays. Like for
Yes.
me, this versatility gives me that tool that I really like. I'm very rarely surprised with what something does
Yeah.
because I've
Yeah.
just played it
Know
or
everything.
played
Yeah.
most of the lists
Every
that are
army. Yeah.
competitive.
That's
I
it.
don't know, obviously haven't played every army, but yeah, if someone
The
played
ones you're gonna
something like
face.
not
Yeah.
competitive, then it's less of an issue usually.
Yes. So, what would you say sort of is one of the biggest lessons you've learned from either a specific game or a moment in a tournament or a tournament overall? Is there anything like that that comes to mind?
I've learned many lessons, but I think like a biggest lesson that um I've learned again and again is that no game is won until it's actually won. As the number of
Very good point.
times I've had a game that just was just all going fine and then it all went to pieces. See,
Hmm.
and the last turn is just astounding.
Mm.
Equally, there was also a lot of games I managed to turn around in the last game. But yeah, it's really important to like keep the focus until the end.
Yeah.
Um, uh, or or there are cases where there is a point, especially in team events, there is a point where you like you can win the game fairly comfortably if you don't take too much risk, and then you can try to sort of kill the game by, for
Mm.
example, hiding your heroes, hiding your leader, like a bit backing off to
Yeah.
then just make sure that nothing bad can go wrong. Because it's not every game, of course, that can be turned around in the last turn. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you're winning and you really want to win, ideally don't give your opponent that opportunity.
Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing, I guess,
Or maybe even change what you're doing, but change it to something like hide all your heroes.
Mm.
You might have good heroes who want to fight, but if one of them dies to
Yeah.
like four models, they might just spike do three wounds to him and kill him. And if this changes the game result, don't take
Yeah.
this risk.
No. And yeah, just to never give up, essentially, I guess, is, it's not over till it's over. Keep it going. Things can swing. It's a dice game. We've all had it happen. So, when it seems like it's all over, stick with it. I like that. So at this point, you've been playing for so long. You've achieved much more than most in MESBG. Are there any goals you have, though, within the game that sort of help you carry on competing or sort of drive you to sort of, carry on competing at such high level?
Mm, so I really wanted to achieve something I've already got off the list this season, which was to win uh mm, let's say World Championship equivalent or the most prestigious team tournament at a time with two different countries.
Yes.
And that was something really quirky and fun.
Has
Uh,
anyone done that? Do you know?
I don't believe so.
I think
Uh,
so. I don't know of anyone who had two countries. Wow.
uh, because there would have to be countries that have actually won. So pretty
Yeah,
sure
that they've
it hasn't.
done
Pretty
very
sure it
well
hasn't
in for
happened
both
In
countries.
MESBG. It might have happened in different games,
Yeah,
obviously.
of course. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Mm.
uh, but of course, I would like to win the GVHL. Although I think that I wanted to win it more like 2 years ago than I do now. I
Hmm.
feel like maybe doing this challenge, doing this season gives me a bit more satisfaction than like really going for it and having this
Yeah.
really tough mm, tooth and nail
Mm,
competition for the entire year would.
sure.
Mm, so
I guess it's
yeah,
it's
I
a
just want.
grind in its own right, isn't it? To sort of, go ham all year, like using the most competitive stuff to really try and win the league. Like, is that what you're going to get the most
I think
enjoyment out of? Maybe, but maybe not.
I think I'll go for it next year, and
Next year.
I'll see what happens. I've been saying this for a few years
You're
now,
saying that in
but
public
no,
here, Jakub.
I
You're
haven't said it
saying.
ahead of this year.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll try to like take the best army list, do my best, and see where it leads me to. Uh,
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, I might just be the best player playing in GBHL who has never won it. And there have been such cases in football, for example, and so on. So,
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
uh,
Sure. Um,
so yeah, do I have then goals? The goal is to have fun,
that is the main thing of course. So, what would you say? What would be your best piece of advice then? Up and coming players aspiring to play at your level. Someone out there who has lived in one country and is now living in another, and they want to be the next Jakub to compete, on the international stage for two countries. How do they do it?
Uh, so first of all, mm, learn maths. I think
Be good at
the
maths.
be good at maths. Mm, I think that understanding those statistics and like understanding what I said, understanding what will happen in different situations.
Yep.
I know players who have done very well without it, or like being just having a good sixth
Really
sense
gifted with it or something.
of
Yep.
what of how you should do it. Mm, uh, and then think learn on your losses, especially to the good players.
Yeah.
As I always try to, if you've lost a game or even if you won the game, try to think what you've done wrong, what you could have done better. Um, if you're playing against good players, ask them what you could have done better. If you're playing
Yep.
against bad players, probably don't because it's not gonna matter.
You don't want to take
Uh,
away the wrong information
exactly.
from the game.
But that's something I try to do. I try to learn on my losses, and uh, hopefully it pays off, and definitely paid off in some cases.
Mm.
Uh, uh, and yeah, just go to a lot of tournaments as well, play good opponents.
Yep.
Um, you can also just message me and ask me things. It's fine.
There you
Uh,
go. A man of
I'm
the people.
I'm always looking for if you're someone who wants to be the next Jakub and is willing to go for it, then I'm looking for an apprentice.
Well,
Always
Sam is a testament to
Sam
this. Sam, you
Sam
took Sam
Sam
under your wing.
Sam really
Whereas
didn't I have to say uh
he didn't. He just didn't take to it well enough. He.
I mean, we didn't really cooperate that much. I feel like maybe something didn't work in this relationship. So
Yeah.
I'm
There you
so
go.
I'm not responsible for neither some successes or some failures.
No,
The
no.
thing Sam is particularly good at is beating me, which is
Mm,
annoying. Although I've recently beaten him, so
there you go.
at least
Got to swing
at
it
least
at
at
some
least
point.
something. So
Yes, there are certain
yeah,
people that of who are my friends that I just can absolutely not beat every single time I play them. So Vince is one of them. I cannot beat Vince every time I play Vince. I get unlucky. He gets very lucky.
Ideally, I would like to have apprentices who I can comfortably win against. Or maybe not comfortably, but can be a very tough game. But ideally, I would like to
You would
come
like
up
to come out
with.
with a win, yeah. Well, there you go. He's taking applications for new apprentices, people. There we go. But yeah, so obviously, try and play, lots of practice games or things. Go to lots of tournaments, play against good players. I guess playing against people who are better than you, that applies to lots of different things, hobbies and such. In basketball, I like playing in tougher sessions because I play against better competition and you learn more. Like you say, you can ask things, ask questions after games, all that sort of thing helps the
Mm.
development.
There are two teams of people who are good players at giving advice are split between ones who say, choose an army list and practice it, like play only with it,
Yep.
learn it as best you can, and then play different things around. I'm mostly about play different things. Um,
Mm.
but
That's usually
maybe
not the school of thought that people have. At times, I get by the rest of the Gollum's gamers. They say, "Oh, you should just like pick one thing and learn it and master it, rather than trying all these different things." But
I
you
think it
think
would
that sort
be
of
good to try different things, but then ideally, if you try to play something like those tournaments that you're really like that's really important for you that you want to
Mhm.
do very well at, maybe not play the same thing. Because the problem also with playing the same thing in MESBG is that different army lists work differently at different points levels. So this can be a
Yes.
trap you fall into, like you have something that works at 800 points, but then there is a 600-point
I've,
tournament. You try to
yep.
play it, and it's not really bad. But maybe try to play lists that work similarly, that have similar elements, that
Yeah, they're
like
the same.
don't try to switch between like elite army and horde, between something that like Dale hangs back shoots, and then
Yeah.
I don't know, something that really
Or
goes into
Cav or
your
something like,
own
yeah,
calf.
yeah.
Oh yeah, so try to stay within similar meta type, but
Realm of.
I would really recommend, and like in practice games or in maybe GBHL 90 or tournaments you don't care as much about, try to
Mhm.
play something different.
Yeah, learn new things.
It's quite important, because that then it will give you much better understanding of what your
Of how
opponents
things,
do.
yeah, want to do. Yeah, for sure. Um, okay, so before we head into the rapid fire round, Jakub, was there anything else you wanted to touch on? Anything? I sent you the list of questions, but any other area you wanted to touch on about sort of your time playing SBG or MESBG in general? Anything at all comes
Mm,
to mind? Floor is
so
yours.
uh, maybe I don't know if there was a plan to also touch upon the modeling and hobby aspect.
Well, that's what I said. One more. Was there one more question before we got to the rapid fire round?
Oh,
But
okay.
that was a lie. I was then going to go on to the hobby bit. But let's go on to the hobby bit. So we haven't spoken about the hobby side. Would you call yourself a hobbyist? Do you get very much time to do that? Where is your stance on all that? Because competitive players are sometimes known for not being sort of that into the hobby side and that sort of thing.
So I wouldn't call myself a hobbyist, because a hobbyist is like a nice word I call someone who's not very good at competitive, yeah,
Okay.
aspect, but then paints very well.
But
Like
they do all that. Yes.
I used to call John hobbyist many times. It's a bit like,
He's
tongue in
doing well
cheek,
this year, so
tongue in cheek. Yeah,
yeah,
he's like
fine.
all right.
So do you have another word for people who do both? Is there some other
No, I
term?
don't. No, I
No.
don't.
Okay, fine.
But
Let us know
let's
in the
say
comments if
I
you have a good name for someone who's very good at competitive play and sort of painter hobbyist. What is the
so
blend?
let's say
Let us know.
I just don't identify as a hobbyist. But it doesn't mean that I don't enjoy the hobby. I actually
Hmm.
do. I paint quite a lot. Uh, and there are even some models that I have painted quite nicely.
Yep.
Although I'm just not really into trying to spend like tens of hours in
Yeah.
painting a model, or painting the entire army with like three hands and a lot of
Yep.
effort put into a single miniature.
You're like
Uh,
tabletop standard sort of guys. That way you fall.
so I can do better than tabletop. Like I've even
Hmm.
won best painted once in GBH
Yeah.
100.
Okay.
Uh, but a lot of my painting is just because I need to play something in a tournament, and then
Yes.
the level of paint. I try not to butcher the models, so I try to paint them to a decent standard, and that's much easier when contrasts and the likes
I was going to ask.
happen.
So, do you use contrast
Oh
paints? Is
yes.
that a?
Oh
Oh
yes.
yes. It's. I live by them. If you're out there and you do not use contrast paints and you like painting models quickly, so you can use them in your games, get contrast paints. They're the
And
best thing that
there
ever happened to me.
you can even paint really nicely and use them still. Like not just use them, but use them as a tool.
Yes.
And
But in terms of painting models quickly, like
toolbox.
there's a friend of mine actually who's he's always painted with traditional paints. Mitch, who may be watching, so shout out Mitch. And I very recently got him onto contrast paints because he's painting Urukai and he doesn't like evil models, so he wants to spend the least amount of time painting them possible. So I was like, well, the contrast paints are perfect for that. And he started using them and he loves them. So just trust us. They you might like them very much, and if not, that's fine.
Yeah, I've had this kind of had something similar
Epiphany.
during the COVID,
Uh, yes.
where I haven't had as much time as some people, because I still like work remotely. But still,
Hmm.
during 2020, I've painted like 300 and something models, then
Wow.
similar numbers next year. This year I'm definitely in my probably 150 or something like this so
Wow.
far.
Good work.
It might be something like this. I just tend to paint a solid number of models each each month, and then
Yeah. Same.
here the maybe a key like hobby tip for
Hmm.
those players
There.
who it's very important to be consistent and to spend some time painting the models. Maybe not every day, but ideally
Yeah.
most of the days.
Yeah.
I really almost never paint more than like 2 hours is like the absolute maximum really that I
Really.
would do in a day.
So you don't do
Depends on the
like a
days.
big, say, like a whole day, as in not like in a row, but you go right. I'm gonna get a lot done today, and you watch a few films like through the day, and you end up doing 5, 6, 7, 8 hours over the day.
No,
That's not a
the
thing.
last time I've done it was when I was like 17 and I had a 40K tournament in a week's time.
Okay.
When I was playing Imperial Guard, again called Astra
Hmm.
Militarum, and I had 150
And they
models
have
to
loads of the
paint.
guard, don't they?
And I
Yes.
had 150 guardsmen to paint.
All in their
Uh, wh-
military camo.
well, I
Yeah.
didn't do the camo, but
No, you just did some sort. Yeah, yeah. Right.
but it was before contrast, something like this, and I've painted
Oh,
them to the tabletop standard, like in that time, fine.
right.
But right now, like no, I don't do the whole days.
Sesh.
Maybe I would do more than 2 hours a day on some like weekend
Hmm.
days, but it would be
If there was like
in
a new
sessions.
FAQ, yeah, if there was like a new FAQ that came out and something was suddenly super super good, or you thought something was going to be super super good, you might go, okay, I need to paint up this new army that I don't have for this upcoming tournament, and you might smash it out. That could
Uh,
happen.
but if the tournament was in 2 weeks' time,
Mm.
and I would assume that if FAQ happened a week before tournament, I wouldn't need to change
It
it.
wouldn't be
If it
used.
if it would be in like 2 weeks' time, I would comfortably paint an entire army in 2 weeks' time.
Okay,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure.
So you could do it.
With the way because the way I batch paint,
Yeah.
like the what I often do with my painting is like I have a few different. I paint a few. So I might paint a batch of warriors of one type, then
Hmm.
a hero from the entirely different army, and another hero from a different army. And I like
Yeah.
do one color on those guys, one color on him, one color on him. I like
Yeah.
rotate, shift this around,
Sure.
this way.
Helps
It's
sort
like
of the
so
variety,
I
doesn't it?
don't I don't go I need to finish this one before I start the next one.
Yes.
This I just found it to be very inefficient.
Yes. Batch painting is.
Especially with contrast where contrast have some drying time.
Mm.
So you want to just mm,
Do a bit, move on, sort of thing.
reduce the time where you're waiting for paint to dry to the minimum.
Yes.
So yeah, and to be fair, if you paint like this, if you optimize, if you batch paint, and if you spend just a bit of time every day or mostly every day, you will be so surprised how
You
fast
can
you
get through
paint.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have some
There you
models
go.
that I've spent a lot of time painting. Some of them are kind of nice, like the new Glorfindel.
Oh, very
Just
nice.
a
I don't
model
have that yet.
I kind of hated painting him just for
I hate painting
how many
horses.
details they had. Oh, I like
Yeah.
painting horses. I'm
Do you like
fine with
painting
horses.
horses? I'm just not very good at it.
It's
Yeah.
just the amount of detail, but uh,
Yes, on
and
the model.
also another tip. Expensive brushes are good. Uh, uh,
Yes. If you
uh,
treat them right, you have to treat them right.
so no, I don't. I I use I'm horrible with my brushes.
You must buy
I
lots of them then, maybe.
my brush maintenance is mostly about using my like my mouth to like form them
I
and then
also, yeah,
maybe a tissue at the end.
Mhm.
Uh, and yeah, I've with normal brushes, I've gone through them like a lot. But
And that's because he
when
doesn't take
Windsor,
care of them, folks.
yeah, exactly. But Windsor and Newton Series 7,
Yeah,
like 20
that's what
quid
I
a
use as
brush.
well.
That's It just helps paint so much. And those brushes, like the last mm, ages, even with bad
Mm.
treatment. I recently had to buy a new one only because I've accidentally I've used super glue on a joint and then I've put the brush into it, so it like
All right.
stuck
Of
with
course.
super glue, and
Mangled it. Yeah.
that's not really
That's not
um
good brush technique.
not good brush technique, and that
No.
makes brush useless. But yeah, it
There you go.
it lasted a really solid amount of miniatures. So
Yeah.
if you think you're saving money by buying cheap brushes,
Mm.
you're probably not. Of course,
You're spending more
if you're
time
painting
painting.
if you're painting like a base coat of like big thing, or like painting the entire horse, like
Terrain for
don't or
yeah.
terrain, like don't use an expensive brush for this, obviously.
Yeah.
But for like small details and stuff,
Yeah.
they're really helpful.
Yeah. Well, Windsor and Newton, if you're out there, little sponsorship. Come on, come on. We've pimped your stuff here. Here we go. I do actually use them as well, so there we go. Okay, so Jakub, I think we're ready to close things out, but before that, let's get on to the rapid fire section. So I'm just going to fire out some short MESBG related questions. Nothing too serious, so just whatever comes to mind, really. Just throw it out there, okay? And if there's any questions that you guys would like to see added to the rapid fire segment, let me know down in the comments. So, first of all, 1 day or 2 day events?
Oh, come on, 2 days.
2 days, there we go. Should you mount or not mount your heroes? That's a very generic statement, I know. So
really depends.
Yeah.
Really depends. But I would say mount.
Mount overall. Okay.
Not the captains this edition, not the captains.
No,
but
sure. Yeah, generally mount. Gandalf or Saruman?
Saruman.
Saruman. Biggest tournament essential?
Dice.
Dice. Okay, can't go wrong with that.
Ideally good ones.
Good ones, yes. Best model in the game?
Boromir of Gondor.
A Boromir. But is that your favourite model in the game?
Oh yes.
Okay, but you also think it's the best model in the game?
So if Boromir of Gondor, the only problem of Boromir of Gondor on a horse for 115 points is that he's only in Fellowship.
In the Fellowship,
If
fine.
add
Other than
Boromir
that,
of
he's the
Gondor
best
on a
model.
horse to any army list, it would make it so much better.
Nice. The only reason I said that was because in the last episode with Farmer, I asked him what he thinks the best model in the game is, and he said Iralas, but he thought I meant his favourite model, so I thought maybe I was asking it in a confusing way. Anyway, favourite sculpt in the game? It's about to say Boromir, folks.
No, it's definitely not Boromir. Unfortunately, it's not. Oh, favorite sculpt. Well, maybe let's get back into that later.
Okay,
That's
sure. Have a little think. That's fine. We will loop back. Faramir or Boromir? I feel like I don't even need to ask you this one.
we know which is the better brother.
Yes, Boromir. Nice. Symbol dice or no symbol dice?
Symbol dice.
Symbol dice. If you are having symbol dice, where is that symbol? Is it on the 1 or the 6?
On the 6.
It's on the 6. Nice. Tea or coffee?
Like both, but I would say tea because I drink more tea than coffee.
Nice. I'm also a tea man. Love it. High points or low points?
High points for 2 day events, low points for 1 day events.
For 1 day. I like that. Okay. Legolas or Gimli? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, but then if you have low points for 1 day events, you can have more games and it's more fun. And
yes, no. It's
Legolas or Gimli. Legolas.
Yeah.
When we're looking at the gaming, Legolas.
Well, but what about outside of the game? Do you have a preference?
Not really, but okay, maybe like in a film, maybe I would identify with Gimli more than with Legolas. Maybe not identify with. I'm not sure, stuff, but
yeah.
Like the character a bit more.
Yeah, more nice. Good or evil?
That's a tough question. Let's say good because Boromir is good.
Of course, fair enough. Favorite prize you've received from a tournament?
Lego Rivendell.
Oh yes, was that was that in Preston?
Yes, in Preston this
Yes,
year, and
nice.
I've actually got the mm, my tournament was approved by my wife because I told her, look, there's Lego Rivendell to win. I'm going to win you Lego Rivendell,
I'll get it.
and I did it,
Nice, and
and
you got it
it was
done.
great, and it was great, and the only thing I have assembled in this Lego was a minifigure of Boromir. I haven't assembled a single other thing,
He dove
but
straight
I
into the
was
box, going through the
no, no,
pieces, trying to
no, like
find
not at
Boromir.
the start, but like she assembled the entire thing. I only got to assemble a
Oh, I see.
minifigure of Boromir.
Oh, I see. Fine, fine. Okay.
But it was still a great prize.
Nice, nice. I'm sure you placed the Boromir on the finished, right? Surely
Oh
you're like,
yes,
right,
as well.
this is the
Yeah,
bit I have to place. Nice.
yeah,
Love it.
definitely.
Nice. What would you be ordering at a bar?
Cider.
A cider. Any particular flavor?
I mean apple cider, but
Yeah.
probably more on the dry side than sweet side.
Yeah. Nice. Most underrated model.
Let's say wolf.
Wolf. Okay. In usurpers. Nice. Mounted
Yes,
wolf. Love it.
because he just fulfills the role he needs to
For
fulfill
the
really
list.
well in the list.
Love it. Nice, nice. A new edition pick as well. Love it. Most overrated model.
Okay. Let's say Celeborn.
Celeborn. Overrated. Okay. So unarmored Celeborn is not
I think
cutting the
after
mustard for you.
I think after the I think the problem is that um he was fine in the beta version of the new edition
Hmm. Yep.
when there were only 6 scenarios and there were
Oh,
four
I
by
see. And
cutting it
now in
back.
the
And now
yeah.
it's when you start to actually build the list, it's really problematic to get what all that you want in the list.
Mm,
And he's kind of it would be either Celeborn or Galadriel. I just
yeah.
don't think that having both in the list is really
It's
viable
viable.
at anymore. It would
Yeah.
lead you to losing some
In the new
scenarios.
edition. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. In an army list, would you prefer multiple cheaper heroes or fewer expensive heroes?
Let's say fewer expensive heroes.
Fewer expensive. Okay. Frodo or Sam?
Because he's cheaper.
Nice. Merry or Pippin?
uh, Merry because he has one higher intelligence for the same
I
for the
love how you
same
attacked
price.
this from the angle from the game. I love it. I have no idea. I had no
They're
idea that he was
identical.
one
They
higher
cost
intelligence.
so it's a bit of a meme because full of a took so his intelligence 7 plus rather than bang
Sure.
6 plus.
There you go.
So me as a competitive player, if I have two profiles that are identical, but they're apart from one stat where
But they're not.
one
There
of
you go.
them is slightly higher, I have to pick him.
Of course. Of course. I love it. Favorite scenario?
Divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer. Okay. Favorite evening entertainment at an event?
I mean, drinking.
Drinking.
Is it an
There
entertainment?
you go. Uh,
The
it's
problem is I'm not like I'm horrible at pool and not
I
great
love
at
Paul.
darts. Um,
You love a bit of karaoke though, Jakub. Come on,
okay, yeah, if it's
let him know.
karaoke, okay,
Yeah,
if we're saying other yeah, karaoke would be a good shout. Yes.
Jakub likes a bit
So
of
yes,
karaoke, as do
let's
we
not
here
make me not
at the
make me
Gollum's
a
Gamers.
drunkard because I'm absolutely not.
Yeah, drinking. Yeah, nice. And finally, dwarves or elves? Very controversial question.
Elf.
Elves. Love it. Ali would not be very impressed if he were here. And let's circle back. Favorite sculpt in the game?
Let's do nostalgia. There's the one
Mm.
model that uh, uh he's quite old. He wouldn't be um probably wouldn't be chosen by too many,
Hmm.
but I've really enjoyed painting this
Okay.
model and I think my version looks really nice, and it would be Kieran.
Yeah,
it's an extremely simple model, but I've just enjoyed painting him so much, and it took me like an hour maybe to get him to a really nice standard. So
yeah, to like him. Yeah, I also do like the Kieran model as well. There's something simplistic about sort of the pose. I don't know. It's quite yeah. I like
also like things
well.
like from the newer models. I like things like Wildman Oathmaker. It's a nice model. Yeah, there are quite a few, but unfortunately, well, I can say one thing: if there will be a plastic Boromir sculpt, he will be my favorite. Like the new plastic Boromir sculpt, not just don't tell me there is a plastic Boromir sculpt, because like I refuse to.
There is.
I refuse to acknowledge him.
Why is that?
Is
it because he's not mounted?
No, just because pretty much all the old Plastic Fellowship models are ugly. So it's like this third brother that Boromir long lost twin.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, ugly twin. Fine. Okay. There's been lots of Boromir talk in this episode, folks. If you're a fan of Boromir, I'm sure you've been loving the talk here today. Ali did actually not warn me, but he said that you were a big Boromir fan. He actually told me to add in the Boromir or Faramir question into the rapid fire round. So there you go. But I think that's going to close it out. Jakub, thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Talk of the Table. I'm sure some of our listeners over the years have been, who is this Jakub? And now we're talking about him in MESBG Monthly, winning all these tournaments. And here you go. I'm sure they have. I have learned a lot as well. So
yeah, thank you too, and go to the Gollums, to the Lemon Cup. I will be there. I'm planning to bring a bottle of lemon juice and a shot glass and drink a shot of lemon juice before every game. So it will be very lemon. We can do it
on the stream, Jakub. I'm sure it will be very lemon. I'm sure I will get you on the stream at some point over the weekend, and we can. Yeah, we can do a shot together. Nice. But you have already been on the stream before at the finale, where when you mentioned about the Khan earlier, I was
also on a different stream before, and it didn't go very well.
Yes.
I have mixed feelings about this. But
yeah, we have no problems on our streams.
I'll be glad to. Yeah, I'll be happy to be on your stream.
Yeah, nice, lovely. So that is going to close us out. So thank you to Jakub, and thank you very much everyone for watching. Another episode of Talk of the Table here from the Gollum's Gamers.